Are you ready to climb aboard the Dragonship? Let's talk about settling.
What's up, RP Thor? I wish you were here, man. We wish you were here, but thanks for the wonderful message. Love you. Thanks for supporting the fellowship. You the fucking man.
Through the white thunderstorms, we ride on the back of our truckers in a fearless ride. Sons of gold, hearts made of fire, conquering lands, fueling our desires. Roaring engines and lightning in our eyes. United we stand, our strength won't compromise. From the east to the west, we sail, we roll. Beneath open skies, the promised land where our spirits arise. We battle the storms and tides of the sea. Now we've arrived in the land we're meant to be.
And we are live. What are we talking about today? We're talking about settling. Everyone settles, but you only settle for what you can get. Most people, not just men, don't want to settle because they know more or there's more, but haven't realized they haven't yet put in the work to get there. And I am joined today by our esteemed guests, Huds, Paul, Donovan, and Jack Napier. Let's start off with Huds. How you doing today, brother?
Dude, doing fantastic. I just went to the Phils game last night. Another solid win. And I'm feeling good. And I'm ready to talk about this topic.
Oh, yeah. Paul, how you doing?
Outstanding, shipmate. I did a similar stream. I did a similar stream yesterday, which I think is appropriate. So I think it's a good topic today.
Awesome. Donovan, welcome to the show. The man, the myth, the legend.
Stop. I get very uncomfortable when people talk about me like that. I don't know why that is, but like Huds, man, he went to the Phillies game last night. I'm going to the Phillies game tonight. We got Ranger Suarez on the mound. He's 9-1, 1.75 ERA. Huds, you heard it here first. Ranger Suarez is going to start for the National League in the All-Star game in July. You heard it here first. Bank it.
All right.
Awesome. And then Mr. Not Jack Napier.
Not. I've never heard of this Jack Napier guy. Who's that? That the guy who got banned? Of course. No, doing well. Just got off Rule Zero. Did a show last night for you guys this morning for me with Rob from robsays.net. Red evening. Had a shit ton of fun with that. And tomorrow I'm hanging out with the boys and we will probably have a couple of the old school married Red Pill moderators on. So
hey, there you go.
That's going to be pretty dope. Other than that, normal life is going well. Internet life's going well. I really can't complain.
Awesome. So me and Huds kind of worked on the background on this one together. We were going to talk about recognizing when to cash out, and we had like three questions to go off of on the show. So let's start off with what do you guys consider settling?
Yeah, let's define that. I mean, settling is when we talk about the like cashing out of the casino, settling essentially it's good enough and you're not striving for more. It's kind of how I view it.
Anything below your desired outcome, I would consider settling.
There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys out there that they settle for the first girl that's nice to them and touches their dick, you know. And and a lot of the reason why they do that is because they hate the process of dating. They hate a lot of them have sniper mentality, so they go out and they're honed in on one girl at a time. And so, they're getting burned. It's an exhausting process. And then, so one girl's slightly nice to them. They're like, fuck it. I'm done. I'm just going to go with this girl here. They put up with all of her bullshit. It's like, man, that's why spinning plates is paramount.
Oh yeah.
Because you got to let go of that attachment to outcome and really sift through your options. And most guys don't do that.
Ooh, we got Laurent in the house. Let's swing by him real fast since he just showed up. How you doing today over there at 2:30 in the morning, Japan, Tokyo time?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing good.
I went to bed around midnight, but I couldn't miss you guys.
We love you, Laurent.
Laurent, have you ever settled? Have you ever settled on a chick?
I did. And it's interesting because Japan is one country where you don't have to. I mean, Japan is one country where you can accumulate more bodies than Pol Pot and Hitler put together.
Whoa.
Oh wow! There goes the monetization.
We're all bands now. Thanks, Laurent.
Laurent coming out swinging. Got the yellow dollar sign already. 5 minutes in.
Oh, Mike saved the day with his super chat. We'll get to that in a second.
All right.
Donovan, what's your thoughts on settling? What do you consider settling?
Yeah, to me, settling is simple. In terms of relationships, like settling for a girl, to me, settling would be committing to a girl, punching below your weight. In other words, committing to a girl who doesn't deserve you. If you're committing to women who don't deserve you, you are settling. And because if a woman deserves you, this means she is doing and is what she needs to be and what you want her to be not even, dude. And I don't call it partner. I call it girlfriend, wife, relationship, whatever the case may be. So to sum it all up, for me, settling is when you are punching below your weight in terms of sexual and relationship market value. In other words, settling for a girl, in other words, your value is so much higher than your girl's that everyone around you knows you could do better, including the girl. That to me is the definition of settling.
But is there anything wrong with that? Because
nope,
we've talked, because we've talked about how with like having a girl that adores you and looks up to you, like that, those are the best types of relationships.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter what her sexual market value is. A woman who loves, respects, and adores you, like, to me, that's a win. So, okay. All right. So maybe she's a 5 or a 6. Maybe she's not the best looking girl in the world, but is she fit, feminine, friendly, and faithful? I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think the problem comes down to you're not really happy. You're not really satisfied in the relationship, but you're just dealing with it because it's better than being out on the trash dating market right now.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, that comes down to you as a man knowing your own value and recognizing it.
It comes down to a mindset too. You know, do you have a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset?
Bingo.
Well, pretty much, but like you will not know if you're settling if you've never had anything else. That is also
very good
how
point.
can you know you're settling if you've never had better? Because that, I think, is where a lot of guys do settle, sort of say, because they've never experienced somebody who actually treats them right.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's like to be treated right. They don't know what it's like to have a girl completely infatuated with them, where they're completely annoyed by her, wanting to touch him all the time. And so what they have now with this hag of a woman who nags him, who complains to him, who gets fat or whatever,
Doesn't fuck him.
just it, where it's like, well, your happy life, you gotta keep her at peace. That's where that stems from. That's why spinning plates is so important, and you don't have to sleep with all of them, but you do need to look at how are they all treating you, and which one is treating you mostly as you want to be treated. Now, as Donovan mentioned, and like Huds too, even if she is a 5 in looks or whatever, but she treats you the best, it's like that gives her already a couple of points. Like I've always said that the 10 is subjective. Now, of course, we all like thin women here, don't we?
Yep. Yes.
That's very simple.
Like fat chicks. No fat chicks allowed.
No, they are absolutely not allowed. But like, if she's like, let's say she's a bit of a butterface, Link, that gets a pass.
Can deal with
that
it.
gets a pass if she's thin and pleasant.
They're all sisters upside down. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, everybody's a mid.
I think I heard
every
it from
girl's a mid without makeup.
Yeah, I think I heard it from Donovan himself. A pleasant attitude 7 beats a fucking 10 all day, every day.
All day. Oh my God, you have no idea. And you know what's interesting? Beauty is at such a premium that it's I don't think people realize just how few beautiful and or in shape women there are relative to the population.
And
Because
sane.
Say again.
And sane.
Yeah,
Beautiful,
and
fit, and sane.
And sane, right? Not only, yeah, right, exactly. Not only that, it's almost like men. We have a lot of men in this community. Unfortunately, this is just part of the gig. We have the same false abundance that women have, and this is what I mean. Beauty is much more common than a high value man. I think we all understand that. There are far more pretty girls than there are high value man, top 5 to 10 percenters. But what Instagram has done, it has fooled women into thinking that high value men are everywhere, and it has fooled men into believing that these baddie ass IG models are everywhere. But when they go out into the world, they're not seeing any of this stuff. But when they do see it every once in a while, they gawk at it. But just like Mike Steele said, I don't want to spoil the super chat, but when it comes to settling, I'm not going to settle, bro. Look, man, no man is perfect. No woman is perfect. You are going to have to compromise in some way, shape, or form. If and only if whatever you're compromising on is if she makes it worth it to compromise on. So for example, if you have a girlfriend who's terrible at laundry, but she takes good care of you anyway, then yeah, that to me would be a win.
Yeah, real quick, going back to what Jack said about, most guys just don't know, right? Well, we used to get the example from our mom and our dad, right? So we kind of get a vague idea of what we should expect. And this is why it's so important for you to know if you're settling or not. Because if you settle too hard, so to speak, pull that out of my ass there, they're going to not be able to show the woman's not gonna be able to show the kids a good example.
Yeah.
If you do want to have a family, if you're one of those guys, you're settling down, right? You're having a family. If you do that, your kids are going to suffer the same problem most men are, where they're not going to understand their own value.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much.
And this is why most men end up settling, is because men tend to undervalue ourselves while women tend to overvalue themselves.
Very true, but that's what you get. Attention is the coin of the realm. Like if a guy gets 100 likes on his Instagram photo, he's like, sure. If a woman gets it, oh God, her brain is on fire.
Yeah, it's kind of standard, right?
Well, they don't know how to deal with the attention.
No, they do not.
If a woman only gets 100 likes on Instagram instead of like 1,000 plus, she's going to be freaking out and taking a million nude photos.
Dude, her life is over. She'll be on suicide watch.
Oh my God. I've seen it too.
So many articles out there of like Instagram models who nearly took their own lives just because they couldn't get the photo right. It's insane.
There are Instagram models who have taken their own lives because of that stuff. Don't get it twisted.
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Good riddance.
There was one Instagram model who was really, really popular. She was beautiful. I think she offed herself at 21 because she just couldn't handle the attention and the expectations. It's sad to see, but when you value attention more than anything, inevitably your life is going to be it's going to end in some way, shape, or form, and it doesn't always end in death.
No.
Yeah, it's a very hollow existence.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Viking Paradigm just joined us not too long ago, a little bit after the start. What would you consider settling, my friend?
Well, actually, Donovan kind of summed up exactly what I would have said. Donovan and I are very similar in that, because my dad had a lot of the same standards. My issue in this space was that I didn't understand what the difference was between the alcohol dad and the actually good man dad.
Oh, wow.
So basically this space, Rollo's work basically clarified a lot for that for me. So I was able to finally wrap my head around, this is what I'm actually supposed to be doing to be a good leader. All that shit wasn't just because my dad was a drunk. He actually was a good man. He just had an alcohol problem. So for me, my take would be very similar to Donovan's. Settling you can do, but you got to know your fucking value. If you don't know your value, then you're going to end up being the man cave guy. You sitting in their corner, happy wife, happy life, happy wife, happy life, drinking, sipping on that beer. Happy dad. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy.
Hell no, fuck that. My man cave is my whole house. Fuck that.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Fuck that noise. You're not about to relegate me to the fucking shed or the goddamn Coat closet. Fuck that place.
Yeah,
man.
but that's the weird part. Guys really don't have that sense or that ability to think that far.
It's
I
incredible.
remember a guy, what was it? It was at the evangelical church. Long story why I was there, which I shall not get into. But
It was a girl.
no, not even. But
Oh.
he was mentioning something, blah, 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 blah. And I told him, why don't you just tell her no? And he looks at me like, yeah, but then she'd let me sleep on the couch. I'm like, who paid for the house? He's like, I did. I'm like, shouldn't she be thanking you then? And he just looks at me like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, if you pay for the house and she doesn't, but she's going to regulate where you sleep, like, shouldn't she be happy she's even allowed to stay in the house?
And you know, the interesting thing is, Jack, is if anything goes wrong in the house, guess who's responsible for it? Right? It's going to be the men, because one of the 4 pillars of feminism is taking away, taking the authority from men while giving it to women, while simultaneously removing all responsibility from women and putting it onto men. So, like Rollo says all the time, the cross we have to bear here in the West is that we have no authority, but we're still being held responsible. If you are responsible for something, you need to have authority on some level. We don't, and that is one of many reasons why the dating market is fucked.
Yeah, which is basically now slavery.
Oh,
all the responsibility without any authority.
Bingo. And let's get to Laurent. What does he consider settling?
Settling is most of a lot of guys, they privilege the relationship over their happiness, whereas women, the default, they privilege like guys privilege the family over the happiness.
Yeah.
So happy life. On the other hand, women privilege the happiness over the family. Hence, 80% of divorce filed by women. At the end of the day, their family, they give more ways to their emotions over the family. In the long run, it tends to hurt them. So what happens is the guys date a girl, all right? Then 2-3 years, okay, they met, then they move in together. Then 1 year, and then they get married. But it's not the girl of their dreams. I mean, they marry who they can. First of all, guys sleep with who they can. It goes back to having plates. I mean, Japan is a bit different in that market in the sense that you have a plethora of choice. I mean, guys who come, it's interesting. Like American guys who come, American people come to Japan. American guys, they come here and they're like, wow, this is a religious experience. They discover the Japanese chick. They fraternize with the indigenous tribes of Japan, otherwise referred to as Q Japanese chicks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh shit, man.
And it's a religious experience for these guys.
Shit,
Like, wait a minute. And then on the other hand, American women come to Japan, and within 2 years, they are on antidepressant and then they're packing and like, oh, this is impossible. Blah, blah,
Of course.
blah. Like the zero.
That's why there's no such thing as the passport cis movement. Dude, the world doesn't want our fucking fat women, dude.
With that said, the passport cis women, I went to Zanzibar in Tanzania. I had a friend over there. And where they are passport cis over there. Like, yeah, it's funny because my friend has a hotel over there, and we walk in and you see a Maasai brother coming out. Like, wait a minute, what are you doing here? Oh, sorry.
Alrighty, guys. A little bit of housekeeping. Shout out to everybody in the beer club, Dragons, Hot Dude Army, Hot Wiener Army is a new one I found out about, and everybody else around the world. My buddy Rafferty runs a hot dog truck that he actually used MLD to like springboard that all on. That's why he's got the Hot Wiener Army now.
That's weird, but
yeah.
it's a weird flex.
But it's a flex. And also this all the channels,
Hot Wiener.
hit the like, subscribe, and support them all. And we got a super chat from Mike Steele, one of our panel members who is not on today, but we'll show it right here. Hit the sound drop, Paul. As Donovan Sharp alluded to earlier with the super chat, Mike Steele, $2 donation. I'm never settling, bro. Meathead red pill guy.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the biggest copes out there. Is guys are like, if I can't drive a Bentley, I won't drive at all. And
yes. Oh wow.
It keeps them from dating at all.
That is the best analogy I have ever. Say that again. If I can't drive a Bentley, I won't drive at all.
I learned that from Dr. Robert Glover. Yeah.
Okay, now let me get into something different. Everybody wants a Bentley, but nobody wants to own a Bentley because do you know how much fucking maintenance a Bentley has?
I own a Volkswagen, which owns Bentley. So
Same
yes, I
with
do.
goddamn women.
I'd much rather have a reliable like Honda or Toyota, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Because think of it this way. When you get into the Lamborghinis, that's when the price gets a little higher, just like Jack was talking about. There's the maintenance. Dude, it's super delicate. If you even, I mean, you know, it's made of this carbon fiber stuff. It's beautiful to look at and fun to drive, but you know you're not going to drive that car for long.
It always has problems with the exhaust pipe or the gearbox or whatever.
Transmission.
Yeah, the transmission.
And make no mistake, guys, I don't know how many of you guys have ever driven, you know, like supercars, but the first thing you'll notice, the very first thing you notice when you push that gas pedal, when you hit the throttle, is how fast everything moves. Dude, you tap the throttle and you'll be at 2,000. Boom. And dude, the steering is so powerful. It's almost as though you could like blow the steering wheel to get it to move. The handling, dude, the curb weight, the suspension, beautiful machines. You get all the attention in the world. But
I agree. I got the opportunity to drive Fowler's Porsche before he sold it and moved down to Mexico City.
Oh yeah.
And oh my god, that thing scared the shit out of me. Like he's like, gun it. We're in like an apartment complex. He's like, gun it. Before I knew it, 36 pounds of boost. We're doing 70. I'm like,
woo! Holy God. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's up quick. Especially if you're in a stick shift.
It was a PDK, so it was an automatic, but still. Whew. So yeah, Paul, how would you like to bring in your video before we get into the next little question?
Yeah. So that guys who say I if I can't drive a Bentley, I won't drive at all. That actually comes from Dr. Robert Glover's book, Dating Essentials for Men, which I often say is one of my holy trinity of dating books that guys I recommend guys read. And I had Dr. Glover on a couple of years ago in the early days of my podcast, and I asked him about that specific part in his book because I had a dating coach friend of mine who's now a breakup coach. Which I think is funny, but he's a breakup coach now. And one of the things was, he's like, Paul, why do you like that book so much? Isn't he telling guys to settle? And I was like, that's not what he's saying. He's saying guys need to walk through open doors, not bang on closed doors.
Right.
Know? And so I asked Dr. Glover about it. So I have a clip here. You want me to bring that up, AJ?
Yes, by all means.
Here we go.
The addiction to superficial beauty.
Right. Yeah. And guys who are like, if I can't drive a Bentley, I won't drive at all. Yeah. And he's like, is he actually telling guys to settle for less? I go, that's not what he's saying. I was like, what I got out of that is you should really walk through open doors, you know, but I wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you my take. Yeah. I do talk about it in Dating Essentials. Here's the deal. Every dating coach out there, well, at least every come on promotion on the internet, you know, get the hottest women, have these instant guaranteed pickup, hypnosis, NLP tricks, lines, openers, whatever. And I've never heard, not once, a dating coach say why it's a good idea to get the hottest woman you can. Mm-hmm. We just assume it must be a good idea, right? Now, what I'll sometimes jokingly say is, all right, your car needs to be worked on, and it's some pretty serious work. Are you going to go get the most qualified mechanic or the hottest looking mechanic? You need heart surgery. Are you going to go get the heart surgeon with the best ass or the heart surgeon that saved the most lives? But we think when it comes to relationship, beauty is the thing that is the main determining factor. Right. And, I list a number. My second wife was gorgeous. Everywhere we went, people said, is that your wife? And I go, yeah. And they would all say, she's gorgeous. I've seen that. That's the word they all use. She was tall, big boobed, attractive. Everybody hit on her. Women hit on her. Men hit on her everywhere we went. And she was batshit crazy. Oh. And in my experience, the most attractive women are the worst people to get with. This is a generalization. Yep. Because since they were little girls, They've been fawned on. Everybody gives them all the attention. Nobody's held them accountable for a goddamn thing in their life. They throw a fit, or if they're unhappy, everybody tries to make it better. They can leave at any moment because they know they're going to get attention somewhere else. I found that in general, the most attractive women are the least mature, least developed, least qualified to be in a relationship with.
Yes.
Hey, pause it real fast.
For any number of reasons. And I think it doesn't take a rocket science.
Yeah.
Right there. And I'm going to shed some light back on Donovan and give him the props. He's the one that said that 8s, 9s, and 10s are all, was it monetized?
Yeah, they are all monetized. They're all sponsored, monetized in some way, shape, or form. They're either an Instagram model, they've got a sugar daddy, they've got their OnlyFans. 8s, 9s, and 10s, and now increasingly 7s are going to be. It's incredible, shocking how many of them actually are glorified prostitutes to some degree.
Even the 8s? Huh.
Yes. Now hear me out here. Even the 8s and even some 7s, because again, as common as we think beauty is, it's not as common as we think. The reason we think it's common is for the same reason why girls think high value men are common. It's because of Instagram. Instagram is carefully curated. It's attractive people doing attractive things with other attractive people. You have these people doing these amazing things, looking absolutely amazing, but when you go outside your door, you barely see that. And so that's when people start to get a little bit confused. And going back to what Dr. Glover said about the hottest girls being the least mature, something I've always said for years is, as soon as a girl realizes that men want to fuck her, all maturation stops. Everything stops. And the reason why she stops maturing is because she inherently knows that okay, men want to have sex with me. They know that sexual attention is the key to getting resources taken care of, provisioning, et cetera, because if a man is not sexually attracted to you from the jump, there's no chance of a relationship unless you are just really thirsty and desperate. But the reason why they don't mature is because men are already giving them everything for simply existing. But they do start to mature again, but they don't start to mature again until after their options start to dwindle. That is when her maturing process starts back up, because it goes like this. When she's 31, 32, yeah, she can still get pretty much any guy she wants, but right around 33, 34, 35, she's going to notice that attention starting to dwindle. So what's going to happen is her firmware is going to reactivate and say, oh, okay, we are no longer getting the favors and the benefits from the kinds of men that we used to for simply existing. So now I need to develop a good personality. I need to be kind. I need to be affable. I need to learn to cook and clean, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why you got a bunch of 40-something women out here running around with the mentality of a 15-year-old, because 15 years old is when they discovered that men wanted to fuck them. Women grow old, but they never grow up. And that's exactly why.
Bingo. I like it.
Couple of things though. I mean, Sacha Guitry, a French womanizer and author, used to say, "L'avantage des jolies femmes, c'est qu'on en est vite débarrassé." In English, it translates as, the good thing about women is that it's very easy to get, beautiful women is that it's very easy to get rid of them. So if you want to spin plates, beautiful women are fantastic for that, because there's always somebody who's going to take the burden. And which leads me to the second point. The other day, I was in a bar, and I was surrounded by Miss Japan Universe, like they're half blood. So there was Miss Universe, New Zealand, Japan, Nigeria, Japan, Ghana, Japan, and so on and so forth. And I asked them, so how many times do guys hit on you? And the women said, no, never. It doesn't happen. Nobody walks up to beautiful women.
Yep.
So there's zero competition walking up to a super hot chick.
Absolutely.
And talking to her. And if
ain't that the truth? That's something that guys don't understand.
Oh, they do not. The hottest chicks do not get approached as much.
Yeah, guys are intimidated by it.
Yep.
And case in point, like the other day, like I was standing right by the 7-Eleven, and it was a super hot chick. I think she was a lawyer. So for me, career women is easy because I used to be their boss, so it's very easy. So I look at her like, hey, so why do you want to have 7 girls? Why do you want to have 7 kids with me? How many girls do you want? And literally, it was the first words out of my mouth. The girl looked at me, what?
God damn.
I've heard Sterling Cooper say the same thing with chicks.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely atrocious stuff. Like I did this. It's so out of this world. Like what?
Piggyback
Okay,
off
give me
of
your
that
number.
thing that we were talking about, what you'll notice, and Hud, you can probably attest to this. Super hot chicks are very, very easy to approach and number close. They're very, very easy to approach and number close, but they are very, very difficult to fuck. On the flip side, you know, your 5s, your 6s, and your 7s, very, 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 very difficult to open, very difficult to number close. But once you number close her, fucking her is as easy as taking candy from a baby. That's the position on that.
Yep, 100% agree with you on that.
Okay.
I even agree. So the next question I had was our outline was, have you ever settled, and what was your worst settling experience? And I can start with this one. My first marriage. Young, dumb, 3 weeks from 19. Married the first chick that touched my dick after joining the Navy. About 5 weeks into dating, we were married. We stayed married for almost 8 years.
Oh my God.
She was probably a 2 or a 3. Had a heart transplant, a whole bunch of other stuff. TRICARE saved her life. So, right there.
Oh my God.
Didn't know my worth, man. Did not know my worth.
I would say red pill chick. I definitely settled with red pill chick. But she wasn't unattractive though. I think she was attractive. She just had all sorts of red flags that I chose to overlook because I didn't want to be out in the dating circuit, and she was the first chick to touch my dick after I got divorced. So I was like, I'm just going to go all in on this one. And I learned my lesson with that.
Is red pill chick, is she an internet personality?
No.
Oh,
I give nicknames to all these chicks just to keep
okay. All right, I got you. Because I remember I was in a back and forth with a girl who called herself a red pill chick in DC. So
yeah, probably a different chick, I'm guessing.
Oh shit. Just shout out to Bruno for being in the chat right there.
Yes, sir.
George Bruno.
You know, every day this beard is growing out. I'm like, what would George Bruno do? What would George Bruno do with this thing?
As we all start playing with our beards.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys have beards? What? It's not fair.
Yeah, baby face over there.
I know, man. I will never grow a decent beard.
I think I can tell my settling story actually happened right before I found the red pill. It was a girl, it was a chick that was in my training class for the call center that I was at, that I was working at. I had just moved to Vegas, and she was a Mexican girl. She was a little bit overweight, but she had huge boobs that made her look thinner just because she had huge boobs.
Most of them are like that.
Yeah, right. And so after our training was over, we all graduate, whatever, pizza party and all that. Then we all go to the club. We're getting sloshed. You know, we stumble back to her friend's place. You know, I fuck her on the futon, and that apparently consummated the relationship. Dude, it didn't take me long at all to figure out that she was a low quality chick. Number one, she was a single mom. Number two, her kid was a fucking hellion. Oh my God, he is the worst behaved kid I have ever seen in my life. And number three, she was just nasty. Like, her place was always, it wasn't junky, it was nasty. Like food in the sink, you know, open cereal boxes in the pantry, in the cupboard, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, dude, come on. And so what I did, so I just decided 3 weeks in to break up with her. I was just like, okay, you know what? Drove over to her house, said, hey, look, Susie, it's not working out, blah, 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 blah. But she was completely indifferent. She didn't act like she was upset at all. And now, mind you, she had told me that she loved me about a week and a half prior. So I was expecting all kinds of drama. It never came. Well, later on that day, I'm talking to a mutual friend about the breakup, find out she's going out on a date. I was like, wait a minute, this bitch told me she loved me like a week ago. And so I jumped on the computer and put in, why do girls get over breakups so easily? And Donovan Sharp was created.
Yeah, that's why I call that girl red pill chick, because she's the one that I got red pilled after.
Oh shit! I've got a lot more. I've got a lot of red pill chicks in that case. Oh my God!
So you got a whole entire animated video series on all yours.
I do. Yes, I do.
They're awesome.
Yes.
They're awesome.
I think that was a very good way to tell those stories in a funny and entertaining way that was also very serious. That kid is super talented, guys. I don't know where he is. Like, he has disappeared off the map, like completely. And I thought, and here's the thing, I thought, and I don't know what his name is, and so I was trying to look, and I know that he moved to Houston. I don't know what his name is, but and here's the thing, I assume that maybe I hadn't heard from him because I've recently changed my phone number, so I'm still trying to get a hold of him with my new phone number, and still nothing. And I don't like, I've called his phone, so I hope he's okay. Story, if you're out there, hit me up, man. We need to make some more of these cartoons, bro.
Huds, Jack, got any stories?
I mean, I guess I've settled wrong a couple times. There's kind of different ways to look at it. Like when I think about one of the girls who I thought was one of the most attractive ones that I've been with, I was settling for like bad behavior. So we wouldn't have like sex as consistently as I would have liked. She didn't really take care of things. I had to take care of her. So it was literally like taking care of a child just to have a pretty girl next to you. And it was just absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, that was a bad decision. And then, I settled with a girl that, and, I make jokes about it, and I've talked to Glenn about this. Like, I actually did date a girl that was 240 pounds once.
Oh my God.
And
oh my God.
And hold on, hear me out.
She's not a lady if she ain't 280.
No. That better be the best head of your life. It better be the best head of your life.
Oh my God, that was unbelievable. What did you say? You said she's not a lady if she's what?
If she's not 280.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, I love that. That was funny.
So yes, in the relationship,
Oh
like
God.
I did help her lose weight, so we did come down to 200, but yeah, all the way around she wasn't that attractive, and I just was being stupid. And I dated her for like a year. Beautiful soul, but
yeah, we don't fuck her soul, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fuck her soul.
Hey, we all make mistakes. We all make
You are a
mistakes.
brave
Dude,
man,
guys. Look, I can promise you guys. I have more embarrassing stories than all of y'all put together combined times 10. I've been blown out. I've been embarrassed. Oh my God, you name it. I can tell you stories for days, man.
I mean, we've all ridden the moped every now and then where it's like, oh, you get a date, you show up, it's like, oh, fuck, she's fatter than the photo.
Right.
I need a slump bust.
But I've driven all the way here. It's like,
and I am kind of hungry, you know what I'm saying? So
honestly, one of the things I tell guys, especially if they've been out of practice of dating for a long time, maybe they were married for 15, 20 years and they've been out of practice. I'm like, you're going to get catfished. You're going to go on these dating apps. You're going to get catfished. There's going to be chicks that have pictures from 10 years ago and now they're like 100 pounds heavier.
Oh yeah.
Go out there, and when you run into them, don't tell them off. Don't try to hold them accountable. Just use it for practice, man. You don't have to sleep with these fat chicks. Just have a drink with them. Practice your body language. Practice bantering.
That is great advice.
And then when you actually do go out on a date with a chick that is actually hot, now it's game time, and now you have some muscle memory. Like that's
even Tom Torero used to say this. I once sat down with Tom Torero, and he even told me, like, I get so many guys for coaching. When I point to a girl, it's like, oh, do you want to approach her? No, not my type. How about that girl? Yeah, well, still not it. And at a certain point, he would just say, like, look, you want to learn how to get laid or not?
Yep.
Like, you will have to learn to approach everybody. I have even gone on record saying, if you can't open the old guy at the register at the grocery store, don't even try with a hot chick. Don't even try with a hot chick. If you can't strike up a normal, decent conversation with an old timer, don't even try. They're their social skills. Start somewhere. But
yeah, that's part of why I designed the question. Do you want to be right or do you want to win?
Right.
Isn't it, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Yeah, but I changed it because most guys
winning's
they
happiness.
don't look at the victory.
Yes.
They prioritize like, well, I want to be right. This is why guys can't admit when they're wrong, when they can't admit when they lost a debate, all this, and why they won't approach a woman, even, they'll make excuses. Like, do you want to be right or do you want to win? Because the thing is that you can't be right all the time.
Sure.
That's the problem that most guys don't understand. Nobody's perfect. And if you think that you're right all the time, then you're wrong somewhere and you don't know where.
No,
Yeah, well
that is
said.
the case. That is the case with a lot of guys. They can't seem to be like, hey, you know what? I fucked up there. You're right. No, for some odd reason, that's very hard for a lot
Yeah,
of guys.
listen, Destiny's probably he's probably the. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Laurent.
In my profession, I'm in the financial markets, and I always tell young guys like, "Hey, do you want to be right or do you want to make money?" Well, but blah 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 blah. Listen, traders make one of two things: either they make money or they make excuse. So, enlighten me about your story again.
Excuses are like assholes. Everybody has one. They all stink.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Cooking.
Oh my
Well,
God.
You know, talking about the question, you know, like what's your settling story? The thing is that I didn't settle at first. Like I had standards, and when I got a good compliant girl, the mistake was on me. I tried to do all the right things.
Yep.
You know, I tried to be that perfect guy, like I said, because I didn't understand the difference between masculinity and alcoholism. That was the one spot my dad fucked up on, right? You know, everything else was on point. You know, so it took me like 10 years to wrap my head around that, where I was tolerating bad behavior from my girl. She got up to 250 pounds after the kid and all that stuff, right? Now it's different, right? She's lost the weight. She's only about 160 now, which is still too much, but she's working on it, slow and steady, you know? So I'm 175. So like I said, you know, I got all the way up to like 253. And, you know, because I tolerated bad behavior from myself,
there you go.
That's what allowed her to get away with shit for so many years. So I ended up settling after I vetted the girl. I vetted a good girl and then fucked it all up.
It does, and we all take L's, and it does take practice. But when it clicks and you find potentially the right candidate, you can and will influence her. I mean, if I have never, I mean, I don't know, post red pill awakening, I suppose I took many L's in Vegas, but I had a certain point where I just didn't have the time, the patience, or the energy to deal with bad behavior. A large part of it was because of my temper, but another part of it was because I really did not have time. The more you're increasing your value as a man, making money, muscles, game, and frame, the less time you have to be dealing with the bullshit that comes with chasing girls all the goddamn time. So at some point you do reach this line of demarcation where, dare I say, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, and you end up settling for a girl who is hot as shit, but her behavior is shitty because you didn't stamp out that bad behavior early.
It's like my last relationship. So let's see here. Let's go to about 40 plus minutes in. Let's go run an ad for Mr. Paul Bauer's book real fast.
Life is a journey filled with twists and turns. Why is it that essential life lessons aren't taught in school? You probably know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but do you know how to invest in a Roth IRA? We're not taught to build ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. The roadmap to success is more than just a college degree. You don't have to follow the traditional route. Success isn't confined to a classroom. It's about discovering your own path. You ever wish that someone handed you a guidebook to life when you were 18? Well, it's never too late to rewrite your story. Everything I wish I knew when I was 18. Advice for young men to create a great life for themselves. This book is your compass, guiding you to pick the right career, how to invest wisely, and how to prepare for a fulfilling future. To take control of your health and your fitness. Learn how to date efficiently and find genuine desire. And master the art of leading healthy relationships. Your path is defined by the choices you make, not by others' expectations. Don't wait until you're 35 to unlock your potential. Order your copy now on Amazon. Rewrite your story. Build the life you deserve. You know, this is actually sort of, I guess, related to the topic today, but I do have a section in my book, right? It's this section right here. It's on the contenders list.
Oh yeah.
And this contenders list right here is how you don't settle.
Right? Oh, wow.
Because you sit down and you figure out what you want, what you actually want in a relationship, the kind of qualities you want in the girl that you want. and you actually highlight things that you will not tolerate and things that you absolutely must have. And if a chick you're dating doesn't meet the things that you highlighted that you must have, she's not a contender. All she could ever be to you is a plate. But most guys don't do that. Most guys don't know what they want. So sit down and think about what you actually want, and you'll get it.
Well, there's what I always like to add to that. When guys ask me, like, "What? I don't know what I want. What do I do?" Well, figure out what you don't want and work as hard as you can to stay as far away from possible as you can.
A lot of the time, if you sit down and think about what you don't want, the opposite is what you want.
Yeah, well, exactly.
That perfectly segues into the next question I was going to ask. Like when to cash out of the casino. How do you know when to settle? Your fitness is on point, your money's on point, looks, game, frame, it's all on point. So when is the proper time to settle?
Yeah, whenever you damn well please.
Yeah, whenever you want. It's like this girl treats me right. She's got a nice rack, or we have the technology to fix her rack because we have that available these days. She's thin, she's willing to go to the gym, whatever. She does everything I says. She's got her own shit going on. I'm not taking care of a child. She can like manage her own stuff. It's like, I can stay with her, actually have a pleasant life because she's an asset to it, not a liability.
Keyword right there.
Or I can go back into the dating market and suffer through all of that nonsense again. It's like, which one do you want? Some guys are like, I like the hunt. They do, and they go for it. Like Troy Francis, guys like that. Although Troy has a girlfriend now, so okay, bad example. But
but I think what you're saying, I think it's a good and a bad example with Troy. Most men at some point, most men who have achieved their black belt in playerdom or whatever it is, most men at some point desire to settle down with one woman. Okay, we might fool around and philander outside of the relationship here and there, just to maybe there's an itch we have to scratch, keep the variety thing going, right? And the more you love your woman, the less she finds out, if anything, about what you're doing on the side. So just make sure that you're careful about that. But I've lived the life both ways. I have lived with a woman who took good care of me, and I have lived the Vegas player life. And the one woman life, the Vegas player life was magic. It was a magic carpet ride. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But being in a relationship with one woman that you can actually love, trust, and respect, to me, that's a much better life. Obviously, it's very, 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 very difficult to do that in this day and age. That's just the truth. It is a better life. Very difficult to achieve, but it is a better life when and if you can achieve it.
I mentioned it a lot in my podcast, but if you guys ever read the book, The Game by Neil Strauss, what my biggest takeaway in there wasn't all the cool pickup shit. It was that all the pickup artists were fucking miserable. Like they were really good every weekend going out, getting chicks, getting them to bang them, but they couldn't keep any of these chicks around, and they were fucked up mentally.
Yes. Look, they knew everything. They knew exactly what to do up until the lights turn on the very next morning. After that, they're as lost as anybody.
Yeah. Oh my God. I had one of my best friends, we met in college. He was exactly like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He just kept racking up his numbers, and it was really impressive. But no girl would ever stay around. Like literally, he could not get a repeat on anything. And I'm just like, dude, it's like, because he would use a lot of those pickup techniques, and then he also would like fabricate stories. So he would like play characters.
Oh boy.
I think the biggest
he was faking
reason,
it but not making it.
The biggest reason why guys can't get the second date or fourth date or whatever is because they're needy as fuck, and they're pushing for a relationship before the girl's ready. It's like, dude, you are using a woman's evolutionary psychology against you. She needs to choose you, man. Like, so you just need to hang out, right? I call it in my book the 3 F's. You need to facilitate, fun, and fuck, and that's it.
Right.
Until she says, you know what, I like this guy, I'm going to try to lock him down. That's her job. But most guys are pushing for it too early, too fast, and they're pushing the girl away.
Yeah, and even the ones that aren't, the problem is that, like, quote, PUA is just basically teaching you how to trigger attraction triggers so that way you can get sex, right? it doesn't teach you how to be in a relationship long term. Does it teach you that you need to not take your foot off the gas? Because a lot of these guys, they'll be like, well, I got sex, now I'm going to get everything else. It's just like, no, sex is level 1. Congratulations, you got your first level. Now level 2 is when you start being able to maintain a relationship, which is a whole nother skill set, utilizing those same skills you just learned on level 1, right?
That's
level
a
2,
good one.
you got to add on to that. But a lot of guys don't look at it that way. And that's why you see, like, even the guys, the PUAs that get lots of girls and are happy with it, a lot of times when they get to the point where I would say that most men would choose to settle is when they want to start a family, when they found that girl, and they don't know that that's the point when you would want to settle down, right? It's literally in the word usage, right? You settle down, and then you have that family. So instead of focusing on multiple women, you're focused mainly on one for a family, maybe more. You know, I'm kind of in the category of wanting multiple families, but I'll digress if I go too much on that. The point is that you gotta know what the skill set you need to actually get what you want is. And that's, I was tuned into a panel yesterday where they were talking about, like PUAs, I have all these problems. And I was trying to, like yell at the clouds more or less a little bit. They were hearing me out. But the point is, most PUAs are fucking miserable. Why? Because they only got one skill set to trigger attraction triggers to get sex. That's all.
It's one of the things we say in the space a lot, right? You got to be attractive and not be unattractive. And the thing is, the PUAs have got be attractive down pat.
Yes.
But their behavior after the fact is unattractive as fuck. And so you have to have both of those things.
Yeah, they burn out because what the persona that they created is not really them. They're pretending, they're role playing. Like like Huds said, his friend, right? He was putting on a show. They say fake it till you make it, but the thing is, the idea is when you fake it, you're supposed to be practicing to become something more. But a lot of guys forget the becoming something more part, and they're just faking it, and then they want to go back to being the little boy in their head that didn't get the shit they wanted. And that's why they get mad when they don't get the outcomes they want. And I say it all the time. There's many ways to win the game, but there's far more ways to lose the game.
Yeah, that's wow, that's well said. This is why we teach congruency in this community.
Ooh, I haven't heard that word in a while.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donovan. Thank you.
Yeah, because girls like listen, women are a lot of things. Stupid when it comes to interpersonal dynamics in terms of sexual is not one of them. Women can pick a dude. They have a sixth sense for sniffing out bullshit. And so your friend Alex must have been really, really good at selling his story, at least initially, because all the girls were buying it. He just couldn't keep it up. And so this is why we preach congruency, because what good is acting confident if you're not really confident? Because if you're not congruent, all it takes is one low-level shit test and you're out because you failed. Yep. So you look real good in the beginning, and then all of a sudden she presses you a little bit. You're like, uh-oh, this is not going according to plan. How do I adjust? That's where being congruent is very important. Another thing is a lot of guys find the red pill and only do the pickup stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So they get a little bit of success with women, and because they're getting laid all over the place, like, you know what? I don't need the red pill anymore. And they slide back into their beta blue pill ways. Now all of a sudden his prospects are dwindling and he can't figure out why. Well, it's because you're backsliding. You started out, you decided that you didn't need, or a lot of guys, they find the red pill, they use the red pill to get married or be in a relationship, and they decide they don't need the red pill anymore and wonder why their wives and girlfriends cheat on them because you did not stay with the program, which again, going back, is why we preach congruency. You must be exactly who you are at all times. And really all masculinity is just being honest with women no matter what. That's what it is. Be honest with women no matter what. And the reason why men aren't honest with women is because they're afraid of rejection. But if a man risks it all and is honest with a woman in the face of potential rejection, at that point, she's going to respect you a lot more. So that's why, and again, going back to what Hud said about, approaching super hot girls, that's why they're far more receptive to men approaching them. They know that their beauty intimidates certain men. So if you step to a chick who's a 9 or a 10, and you're confident, you're making eye contact, you're leading the conversation, she's going to be pleasantly surprised and subsequently attracted to you.
100%. I like to think about that, like when you were talking about how they come into the red pill, they learn some of this stuff, they get the girl, get the relationship, but then they don't follow through with the principles. I think that everybody has to take the red pill twice. You take it once, and you on top of the world, but you do, like, most guys do tend to fall into one of those relationships where they backslide, and then you take it a second time, and when you take it the second time, you take it really fucking seriously.
Yes.
At least that was my experience, and that's been the experience that I've seen with a lot.
Oh yeah, but that's true. You go through your second anger phase. Dante and I talked about that, where it's like, oh, and you, because there's always this little bit of hope where you think, like, you know what, there is one woman, there is one, and the thing you meet her, like, you've been through all the hoes, and then you meet one, and she will break you more than any other one.
Dude, it's funny you say that because, like,
there is more than one of them out there. You just better pray you never meet one of these bitches. I'm telling you, there are women out here right now. We don't know them, they don't know us. But if we were to ever meet, they could get over on every one of us. It's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. That's why you got to be congruent, dude, because you never know when you run up on a chick.
You wouldn't be able to get them if you weren't red pill aware.
Say again.
You wouldn't be able to get them if you were red pill aware. But they will still break you, even though you know all the
Straight
shit.
up.
Oh yeah, man. Like, it's funny you mention that because, like,
after that, then you will become the man you are supposed to be.
You don't listen. A woman doesn't have to have sex with you to break you. Hell no, dude. You don't have to have any sexual contact. That bitch can still break you. Real shit.
Yeah. Well, and the reason why a lot of these guys
love bombing
backslide
and shit like that. That was hell of a product.
Jack, we need to do an episode of us two talking about this because, like, I found RSD in between the 2-year relationship with the one chick and then getting with my ex fiance. So I had some RP knowledge, not the full congruence like Donovan was talking about. And I used what I learned from RSD to get with my ex. Big mistake because, like I said, she's borderline sociopathic.
Well, and that's kind of like where guys need to be. How do I phrase that? Because Huds mentioned it. Well, Huds mentioned it as well, where they used a red pill initially, like, to get one girl. Where it's like, no, the whole point is it gives you experience to find out what you want. And one girl right away after you've learned skills cannot tell you what you want.
Right. What I find too is, you know, because I came out of a men's group, and a lot of guys would read the material until they got into a relationship, just like Donovan was talking about, right? And then they would stop reading the material, and then they would backslide. And the reason why they do that is because you can't undo 20, 30, 40 years of bad programming in just a couple of months. You can't. You have to keep the shit fresh in your head constantly. The work never stops. You got to keep going. And so there's a few guys in the space that are like, hey, get what you need from the space and get out. And I'm like, that's an okay message, but you at least need to review the material at least once a year to keep it fresh in your head, or you're going to fall back on old programming, and then you're going to find yourself back in the forums again and stuff like that. It's like,
yeah, it kills me how many times guys forget what the red pill is a metaphor for. Uncomfortable truth. And it's like, if you see you saying, well, I don't need the red pill anymore, you just said more or less, I don't need the uncomfortable truth anymore. Because, well, guess what? Most of these guys, they get comfortable. They think they don't have anything more to learn. You're never done learning. I see the same stuff that Paul's talking about in the Fresh and Fit Discord all the fucking time. And even with women too, backpedaling, right? You know, like, oh, well, I learned everything that I needed to learn from this space. Should I move on now? And we're just like, Mo and I always tell guys, like, we're still students. We're always students. We're always learning. If you're not learning, you're losing.
I mean, I'm seeing it now. I'm not mentioning any names, but there's a couple individuals in Paul's beer club that I'm just like, oh God. They come in, take the information, and then they try it out, and then something fails, and they're like, well, why'd this fail? Yada, yada. I'm like, I can see this coming already.
But real quick, I'm going to head out. Thank you guys for having me on again. Donovan, good to see you again, sir.
Yeah, you too,
It's
man.
been a while.
All right.
Bye, Jack.
Have
Thanks,
a
Jack.
nice day. Cheers.
Or not Jack. Poor Jack and his Twitter account.
Dude, he cracks me up. He really
I love him though.
I like how demonstrative he is.
Yeah. Jack's a smart cat for being a young buck.
He is, man. He is. That's why I helped him out, dude. I was like, you know what, this kid, I think he can be a star, man.
Yeah. So like for me, as far as like when I know when to cash out and settle, it's kind of like my own Pareto principle. Like I follow this from learning it from Larry Sharp of all people, who was a New York governor candidate for the Libertarian Party at one point. 80-20 rule. If I can agree with them or they do like 80% of the shit that I like and I can, okay, the other 20%, I can kind of forgive unless it's like something crazy like rampant drug use or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, 80-20 rule. She meets 80% of what I want. Yeah, I can settle with that. I'm not going to find that half Japanese, half Mexican, big titty nurse with red hair. I know that's not going to happen.
You know what? That reminds me though, AJ, because you and Mike were both sharing this in Beer Club the other day. You guys found an app where you guys like put in like all the requirements you wanted in a woman, and you guys were looking for a fucking unicorn that was like less than 1% of the population.
Oh
I'm like,
God, yes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm like, Jesus Christ, like even 30 grand a year for income, it was like less than 1%. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these chicks?
well, they don't need to make an income when they got sugar daddies out there, you know.
Yeah, well, also take into consideration if it's using that data, like census data, there's a lot of women that don't work, so they don't make any income. So you've got a lot of zeros averaging into that.
Yeah, totally.
But for me,
I'm sorry.
No, okay. So for me, like when it comes to knowing when to cash out, like I noticed it with the girl that I'm with. I've been with her almost 4 years. We're gonna get married. It's all set in stone. I'm fucking happy as hell. It was what she did, you know, not so much like the love bombing type of things at the very beginning, but she like, dude, it's crazy. She cooks all my meals. She does the laundry. She cleans. She'll massage me like literally almost every day. Like she just does things that to show her appreciation for me. And it's a part of her personality too. Like she works with children as well. So she likes caring for people. But once I saw all those things and I saw how much easier my life was, like doing all of this stuff and doing dating coaching, my ex that oh man, the one that really screwed me up, that ex got angry that I wanted to do any type of streaming or any of this type of stuff. She got angry if I was going to have like men's groups or anything like that. And it's because she wanted all my attention. She wanted the control. With this girl, she's absolutely fantastic where she supports everything I do. I can message her. I got her on Telegram now, so I can go ahead and telegram her during show and like have her come and adjust lighting or do anything. She supports my mission. And so once I had a girl that was, you know, attractive enough and supported my mission, that's when I knew it was time to cash out.
There you go.
I like that analogy. It kind of sounds like a Paul and Nurse chick.
Yeah, Nurse chick, she's my biggest fish. She's probably watching right now, but she's at the gym. But yeah, I mean, like what I said earlier, how to know when to settle your fucking contenders list, man. If she checks all your boxes, she might be one to settle with, but it's got to be her idea, man. It's got to be her idea. You can't forget that.
That's right. Oh, yes. Listen, this is something I preach all the time. Never, ever, ever angle for a relationship first. And the reason why I preach that is because when you do, you automatically forfeit your right to set standards, boundaries, and expectations. Because what you are telling a woman when you ask her to be your girlfriend first, you are essentially telling her that she has met all of the requirements required to gain your commitment. And so once you do that, then if you tell her, okay, now that you're my girl, like, so it goes like this. You want to be my girlfriend? Yeah, sure. Okay. Get off social media. Wait, what? Yeah, I want to social media. I'm not going to be with you. She's going to look like you, like you're an idiot. And you are, because you angled for the relationship first and said you let her angle for the relationship first. And never ever say yes the first time. You make her ask 2 or 3 times to make sure she really wants to be in a relationship. You put her off every single time. Then the 3rd or 4th time she asks you, hey, this is like the 3rd or 4th time. And we all get this, right? If we don't make this official, then we're not sleeping together anymore. So you tell her, okay, so you want to be my girl, right? She says, right. Okay. Do you want to know what it's like to be my girl? Sure. Unlock your phone and hand it to me right now. Okay.
I've done that.
She's not very good. She's not going to be ready for that, right? And so if she guards that phone, all right, cool. Do we want to continue this conversation? Nope, everything is fine. The next time she approaches you, she's going to be ready. She'll wipe out all of the contacts that she's been fucking. You tell her again, unlock your phone and hand it to me right now. You don't even have to look at the phone. You just need to know that she's willing to do it. Then you hand the phone back to her and you say, that's a start. That's a start for what? That's a start in terms of what it's going to be like to be my girlfriend. Inevitably, she's going to ask you, well, what else does it take? What else does it take? You tell her this, look, I'm not your father. I can't tell you what I can't tell you what you can or cannot do, but I will not remain committed to women who are on social media. I will not remain committed to women who travel alone. I will not remain committed to women who go to bars and clubs, and I will not remain committed to women who travel for work. Are you telling me I can't be on social media? That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm telling you that if you engage in any of these behaviors of women that I don't commit to, you are essentially forfeiting my commitment. And so now you have a choice to make. You can either be my girlfriend or you can be on social media and live the city girl life, but you can't have both. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
One thing, hold on. One thing I want to say on that, those boundaries are not the same for everybody.
Yeah, very true.
So just be aware of that. Like, just because Donovan's done it one way and it works for him does not mean it may work for you. But what he's explaining is setting those boundaries to allow that relationship to happen. Because as we always say, women are the gatekeepers of sex. We are the gatekeepers of relationships.
We have to be. But most guys don't do that. Most guys are like, here, they're just giving the shit away for free.
There it is.
That's part of what leads to the backsliding. Guys because we're idealistic, right? And we suffer with a scarcity mindset a lot of times. We will ignore the red flags, right? Even if you're Donovan mentioned before, like women get at this stuff immediately. The difference between men and women in that regard is that women typically won't ignore that shit. They'll actually take notes and stockpile that shit for later. Right. They'll have a whole list in the back, of like all the shit you did that you fucked up on. And if it becomes too much, then they'll get rid of you. Then that's the thing that a lot of guys don't take a list and be like, well, is she really meeting my criteria? And they let a lot of that slide. And what Donovan is basically saying with his the structure of his course, and that's funny you bring that up, Donovan, is that's where the W butt stuff meme came from, was when we were going over your course in the Discord.
Yeah.
Right. And that was mind blowing for a lot of guys that, oh shit, like I can't be angling for a relationship. Oh shit, like I gotta wait multiple times for her to ask. Right. And why? Because it lets you know that she's not just using you as a placeholder.
Very simple. I'm trying to tell you, man. Yeah. Here's another thing. I think a lot of guys need to understand, because what you were just saying just now, VP, about men just giving away their commitment so frequently. A man who gives his commitment away so freely is the way we view women who give away their bodies frequently. So there is such a thing as a male slut, right? But male sluts and female sluts are two different things. I'll give you a few examples. If a girl fucks a guy after one drink, she's a slut, right? If a guy calls a girl wife material after an hour, that's a male slut. If a guy wants to make a girl his girlfriend after 2 dates, that's a male slut. The girl sleeps with a guy 2 hours after she meets him. Here's a male slut. A guy who has 3 girlfriends in 3 months. A female slut is a girl who slept with 3 guys in 3 days. Male slut is a guy who proposes to a girl he's been dating for 4 months. A female slut is a girl cheats on her boyfriend 4 times in 4 weeks. The point is that a male slut is the same as a female slut in that they are giving away what they are the gatekeepers to for next to nothing. And the way we treat sluts, we put them in the recreational use only category. Well, guess what? Girls do the same thing with male sluts. They put this in the no sex and gifts and trips only category, and they will never ever sleep with you. So just understand, men can be promiscuous, but it's very, very different from the way women are.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get Glenn Lawrence's that jabroni Glenn Lawrence's super chat here for
jabroni
$9.99. He says, I don't settle. That's why I'm out here enjoying the sun, bishes in bikinis, and directing another music video. You want to hit that sound?
Shame
drop?
this horse.
Yes, shame these
shame the whores.
Hit it again.
Shame this horse.
Yeah. Shout out to Elena for that sound drop.
Oh yeah, that's the best sound drop I've ever heard on YouTube.
Emotional damage.
Which leads us into the next bullet point we got.
Let's do it.
Stop talking about ourselves. What advice can we give the ladies about settling?
When should girls settle out of the? Yeah.
Oh.
When did they cash out at the casino?
When should they find the guy with the yacht and the? No, I'm just fucking.
All about the sixes. Apparently, they're never gonna settle for me because I'm under 6 foot.
Yeah, you're a midget.
I'd say it gets to the point when they're like when the guy is waiting, if they're taking Donovan's advice, when you're with a real winner, he's going to wait for you to bring that subject up and he's going to set down standards. So when you're really committed to that guy and you want him to be with you, you want to lock him down, then you start initiating those conversations and see what he does. Right. And if he really does want you, like decide to settle, right, then you will commit to what his program is. You know, hey, if he asked me to hand the phone, I'm just going to hand it over without hesitation.
Absolutely.
Hey, if he doesn't want me to go to the club, he doesn't want me to wear this out in public without him, this, that, or the other thing, all those little things, you're willing to do those things because that guy, you're willing to give that up for him. Social media, whatever it is, that's the guy you would want to settle for as a woman, right? He's doing all the right things to get you to want him. So you have to be willing to do those things to be able to keep him.
I think there are a lot of healthy women out there would do some of those things naturally. Nurse Chick, I didn't have to tell her to get off social media. She just fucking did. You know, she
Same with my girl.
Yeah, she did. I didn't say anything about it. She just closed down all of her social media accounts. She does have social media, but she keeps them private, and then she changes her name and puts up an avatar that says Nurse Chick. And she doesn't sit there and post pictures of her ass and shit all day. All she does is like come by and likes my videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
early on in my relationship, my girl, she shut down all her social media. Like I didn't even ask for this. She just automatically did it. And then she said, I still got my Facebook. I'll delete it if you want, but here's my password.
Yep. There you go.
I would also say if for women out there, show some fucking investment. If it's a guy that you really like, show some investment, do some things for him, like offer to cook him dinner, because a woman that really likes a guy wants to do nice shit for guys. And guys, a lot of you guys won't let these girls that are really interested in you do shit for you.
Yes, let them
they
buy
want
you
to do
shit.
it.
Thank you. Yes, let them buy you shit. Don't turn that down. Don't be meat at a red pill guy.
Yeah, don't be like Mike Steele. Don't be like Mike Steele and turn away that free gaming chair. That thing was $300. I don't know what he was thinking.
Mike, what are you doing?
He was like,
Well, okay, to
just
be
because
fair-
it was like second date or something,
What's her
right?
number?
Yeah, it was-
man? What's her
to be
number?
fair-
I need a new one, goddammit.
To be fair, it was only the third. It was after the third date that he had
Yeah,
with,
it's
him,
a
with her.
little-
So.
God, dude, this dude is getting a gaming chair after the dude. I'm telling you what, man, y'all are running. Dude, I've been out the game for so long that y'all are like lapping my ass. This dude's getting fucking offered gaming chairs after the third date.
And then dumping her. He's like, I don't want that. Get out of here, you crazy bitch, for
Dude,
buying me nice things.
I think Rich Cooper actually said it probably the best of anyone I've ever heard talk about it. Women fall in love by doing stuff for you.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It's the Benjamin Franklin principle. So the Benjamin Franklin principle, what happened is Benjamin Franklin had a sort of opponent in, I forgot if it was Senator Congress. And in order to gain his favors, he knew that this guy had a book or the library, extensive library. So he asked him to borrow a book. And then the guy, he couldn't rationalize, like, wait a minute, he's my adversary. I don't really like him, but there was cognitive dissonance. And what do we do in this case? We adjust our belief rather than we adjust our actions. So he became, and women fall in love with the guys they invest in, which leads me to men and women are fundamentally different. Like, for instance, for us guys, it takes 10 years to become who we are, like money, muscle, game frame, blah, 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 blah. So for us, getting the girl is getting the salary at the end of the work. For the girl, getting the relationship is where she starts to put the work. So
yeah,
for
there's
us,
there's a lot of women out there that are like, I'm not going to do the wifey shit until he puts a ring on it. Whereas we're expected to do the fucking husband shit from the get-go.
You know what? Listen, you want to know, and I've heard that term a lot. You're not going to get wife benefits if I'm on a girlfriend salary. To that I say this.
You're in the wrong country.
Well, hold on. And yeah, absolutely. You're in the wrong country, number one. Number two, if there is a Broadway production, any play production, movie, whatever the case may be, and there's a role that's available, the company makes you audition for the role, right? You can't you can't go to Phantom of the Opera and say, I want to play the role of Phantom. Okay, what do you got? Well, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not going to give you Phantom of the Opera benefits on just a tryout salary. I'm gonna need something from you guys. I'm gonna need it. No. You need them more than they need you. And this is why we talk about it like this. Men and women, we need each other. Let's not get it twisted, but let's not get the score twisted either. Women need us a hell of a lot more than we need them. And that's why we have the leverage, which is why we can make the rules. The problem is men don't realize that. And that's why women are fucking running circles around us.
Yeah, it's proof of work. You got to show that you can do the work, so that way, like that because you don't get promoted unless you're doing stellar over everybody else around you. That's how you get promoted in a job situation. This is real life meritocracy. You have to demonstrate that you can do something to get the reward. Everything must be earned, whether you're a man or a woman. If you want something good, you got to earn it. If it just gets handed to you, right, it's might not be that good. That's why Mike might have like turned the gaming chair down, because after 3 dates, a girl like investing that much is a little suspect, right? That's like, trying to get the beta bucks type deal locked down, possibly, right?
It's kind of like it's love bombing.
Yeah.
So it could be a good sign that she's investing, but if you, once again, you do got to be wary. If she invests too much too soon, she might be just trying to, lock you down in a different way. So,
well, if a woman invests, that makes sense. But you have to understand is that, how can I put this? Women, the more you invest in something, the less likely you are to walk away from it. And I think that's with anything in life. I think that's with businesses, people, and relationships. So yeah, a girl might love bomb you in the beginning, but she is investing in you. And we have to understand is that there are girls who invest at a higher frequency than others. Some girls like to invest early because they pick up on the fact that they want to be with you early. Some girls need a little more time, and then all of a sudden it changes. But you can never, ever, ever get too much investment from a girl.
Yeah, well, and that's where the 6 month to a year vetting process, there's going to be some context there that we're obviously missing in this conversation about Mike's situation. That, if you're dumping her because she gets you a gift, like that's a little extreme, right? Unless she's showing some like major like black flags before that, then you typically want to go through that vetting process, give her, a few more months, see where it's going. As long as she can stays consistent, congruent, then you might, entertain like, that, I can take those gifts and keep it coming.
Red flags and stuff like that are subjective, though, so maybe that is one of his red flags. Let's get this super chat here, because I have a thought on this. So Jacob ITW with a $1.98 super chat. Thoughts on bringing women back to us? Hashtag passport bro. I think it's a fucking terrible idea.
Oh my god.
And horn real fast, then go into it. Thank you for the super chat. Now go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, my thought on this is this. If you go to a country where the women are submissive and they're traditional, it's the culture that made them that way. As soon as you bring them back here, they are going to get fucked up. They're going to get Americanized, and they are going to rob your ass. That's my take on this. Donovan, you have some thoughts.
Yeah, you don't bring foreign women back to America. That is the quickest way to absolutely deep six your relationship and your life. The American culture, feminism, it's too much of a stronghold in this country to not negatively influence people. Because if you think she's going to hold on to her traditional values that she had at home, you got another thing coming. Because women in the United States, they are going to be jealous of her. She's fit, feminine, friendly, and faithful. And if we know anything about American women, they hate it when foreign women come in and they take their men and they're happy. So they're going to be all in her ear. You need to be independent. You need to be this. You need to be that. No. If you really want to be a passport bro, there are costs to everything in life, okay? And there are different costs for different parts of life. Back in the day, if you wanted a virginal woman who was fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, the price was you had to have your shit together, get her dad's permission, tradition for tradition. Well, these days, the price is a little bit higher. If you want that traditional woman, you have to understand that part of the price you have to pay is not only going overseas, but staying overseas. If you want that traditional wife to stay traditional, stay in Vietnam, stay in the Philippines, stay in Brazil, well, not Ukraine. That's a bad example, but
stay in Prague.
Yes, well, there you go. Right, you need to keep her in the environment that she was in when you met her. Otherwise, the United States, England, Australia, it absolutely will corrupt her.
Eddie Murphy had a bit about this back in the 80s, right? He's like, "What have you done for me lately, Eddie?"
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I've talked about this too because Big Mo's a passport bro, right? And we talk about it a lot. And I say there's typically two types. Well, there's technically three types of passport bros. There's the ones that are doing it for an easier time in the dating market, the ones that are looking for a wife, and then the ones that are just looking for variety, right?
Right.
And the thing is that either way, you need game and frame. Doesn't matter how traditional the woman is, because as I found out the hard way, that even with my traditional woman, shout out to Yaka in the chat, the problem is that if you don't do those things, you don't enforce those boundaries, you don't have those standards and are willing to walk away, you put yourself in a bad spot. And the girl, she will get corrupted either by friends whispering her ear, her seeing stuff online. And this is what you're seeing now. Like a lot of guys are going over to these hot spots that used to be for passport bros, and they're finding out what's with all these whores. What's with all these women trying to sell box? Like it's
All
like
these
because a bunch of guys went over there thinking they were going to have easy game and just simped on a bunch of these bitches. And now they've created the same problem. And it's also getting spread through the internet. Right? Women overseas, like they got a cell phone to talk to you. They are on the internet. They are getting feminism in through their eyeballs and their ear holes. And then they're going to be regurgitating that shit and they might hide it. Right? See, this is the thing. A lot of these girls that are more traditional, like what do you see with the TradCon girls here in the United States? They hide it extremely well. At least the whores are going to be honest about their shit. And you can actually see them for what they are. These women will backstab you in a heartbeat if things don't go their way. And you see this with a lot of these passport bros going over there looking for an easier time. Or when they like bring this mail order bride back, and then all of a sudden they're like, why did she divorce me and grape me? I thought that wouldn't happen. It's like, yeah, because it was on you as the leader and you fucked it up.
It's because guys like that only know how to lead with their wallets, and it's like and you if you don't have game here, you're not going to have game there, and they're going to use you for your money, just like the chicks here will.
100%.
It's interesting. I have stories about that. Like I live in Japan. I speak perfectly Japanese. And the other day we were right next to us. There was two beautiful women, professional violinists, and my friend was like trying to get at her, like, why? But you don't speak good Japanese. Like, well, that's the whole point. And sometimes in Japan, you find these chicks. Wow, you speak great English. Where did you learn? Did you live overseas? No. And and then there's always a slide bar. Ding. I know how you learned.
There you go.
There's a lot of miles that went into learning.
Oh yeah.
And this one's for you, Donovan. Go for it, man.
Yeah. We've got somebody in my chat, Panda Trucker, who has gifted 5 Donovan Sharp memberships. Looks like Taiki, Aaron 3319, King Godfather 21, Morgan Jones, and Alexander Sinclair are all new Donovan Sharp members. That's actually very good timing because I actually have to dip out now. So thank you guys for having me on again. I would love to do these more frequently because I really do enjoy these. Thank you guys for having me on. Huds, man, we got to hook up at some point before I move out west, man.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. Absolutely.
I'll be in touch. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Donovan.
Thank you, Donovan.
Take care.
And without any further additional questions from the chat, let's go do a roundtable on where to find everybody and final thoughts on settling. Let's start with Viking Paradigm.
Well, settling, like I said, that's going to be very contextual for a lot of guys. But the thing is you just got to understand male and female nature, right? And that's going to give you the context that you need, right? Listen to everything that we're saying and take what actually works for you, right? I always, when I'm giving advice to guys, it's like, I know guys aren't going to typically just listen to everything you say. Like there's the guys that want to do this step by step and whatnot, but they still fudge the numbers. They still play fast and loose with the rules. So the key thing is that you got to understand the benefits and the consequences to the things that we are talking about, right? And that's come down to when you make that choice. Like I said, for most guys, when they want to settle down, even if they're a player and they're getting lots of bitches, it's going to be when they want to start a family because they need a good wife, a good mother that's going to actually be able to fulfill those needs for the family, not just for them. Right. And even if you're a guy that, like say, like Troy, that doesn't necessarily want to have a family. Well, I don't know technically, but he's been in the game a while. Right. Even if you're a guy that's been in the game for longer than most. Right. It comes down to deciding what you want and being honest with yourself about what you want. Because if you do settle with a girl, the key thing is that even if you ain't banging other bitches, she still needs to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you could, right? And if you reassure her all the time, oh no, baby, I'm not like that anymore. I don't do you like, she's going to be like, well, did I really pick a winner? Or did I pick one of those PUA guys that was faking it? And he just faked it for longer. So where to find me, Viking Paradigm, anywhere, YouTube. I actually, because of the unique name, I got the socials anywhere. So if you look Viking Paradigm up on pretty much any platform now, I might even have an OnlyFans, you might be able to find me there. So
I do not want to sign up to that OnlyFans.
Oh, I'm definitely signing up to that OnlyFans.
AJ's going to be his only fan.
Exactly. So those Vikings got to stick together. Laurent.
The idea of settling, yeah. A lot of my friends, they fight a lot of battles outside with work and so on and so forth. And when they come home, they don't want to fight. So yeah, they settle. And besides, the legal system is set in a way that, hey, you're gonna bite some bullets if you want to be around your kids, if you want to keep the ball moving. So it's always a trade-off until it isn't. As far as finding me, I don't have much social presence, but we have a community with Ryan Fowler, Mind Chrysalis, and also we're coming up with a product that I think a lot of gentlemen could appreciate. A product about anxieties, specifically men anxieties. So it's going to be there probably in a month from now, but more on this in the upcoming episodes. And gentlemen, it's always an honor and a privilege to be around in your company. Today, Thor was not with us, but it's always a privilege to be around you, gentlemen.
It's a privilege.
Thank you. It's a privilege to have you, man.
Thank you.
Let's go with Paul.
Yeah, guys, get my book. All right. I talk about a lot of this kind of stuff, right? I talk about, the longest chapter in my book is dating and spinning plates. And spinning plates is the most efficient way to date. It will keep you from settling. And even if you do want to get into a LTR, some kind of committed relationship, it's still the most efficient way to date. And what will keep you from settling, I mentioned it a couple of times, but your contenders list will keep you from settling with a woman that doesn't deserve it. And when you're out there, you want to test for interest, and you want to set the tone and lead, and you want to test a woman's ability to follow your lead. And if she's not willing to follow your lead, she ain't it, bro. She ain't it. Don't settle for her. You can get that on Amazon and on Audible. If you guys have an Audible subscription, use your next credit on it. RP Thor did the narration for that. Other than that, tune into the podcast Monday. We're going to be talking about, Leonardo DiCaprio and how chicks over 25 are a little long in the tooth. You know what I mean? All right.
And Huds.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my final thoughts and kind of what I want to leave everybody with here. What Donovan was saying earlier is very, very true. Like a 4 or 5, well, let's not go down that low, but like a 6 with how she behaves and how she treats you. It if she treats you like a king, it just does. It gives her more points and it can make her a 9. Like, yes, you can potentially get somebody more attractive, but you really need to look at behavior. For guys, I think the most important thing is to look at behavior when they're settling down. And I mean, I guess that's true for both of them. When you reverse it as well, like girls, lead with how you would treat him if you were his wife, if that's what you want. And then see how he reacts and how he moves. And if it doesn't align, then yeah, no relationship. Like it's the same type of thing. You got to look at people's behavior. Like the attractiveness, the physical attractiveness is only one aspect of a relationship. So it's very important to look at behavior. Best way to find me, Instagram right here at the Hudsman. I've got my community, Men of Now, that is growing. So if you got any questions about dating or you're curious about the community and you want to be around men like this that are improving every single day, definitely hit me up.
Awesome. Thank you, Huds. And settling, I go back to what I mentioned earlier, the whole Pareto principle, 80-20. If a girl can get on to my program 80% of the way, and barring anything like mental disability or heavy drug use, and I don't agree with her on those remaining 20%, yeah, I could probably see a future with her. In the meantime, I'm going to keep doing what I do. enjoy the dating circuit. And also, I just dropped the other night. Thank you, Paul, for coming in at the end of it. My review of Frame by Ryan Stone. I recommend everybody, man, and even girls, read that book. That book is phenomenal. And I look forward to doing my review of Dread here shortly. On the, I think it's the 12th, we return to Masculine Geeks channel with Rollo Tomasi as the Rational DM. And that's all I got. We're going to go out with Thor's book and end the stream.
Masculinity is in crisis. What are we to do? We need to acquire a dominant masculine presence. Now available on Amazon. Masculinity is in crisis. Men's masculine behaviors and traits have been suppressed by popular culture. Why has it become so popular to shame, guilt, insult, masculinity, and masculine behaviors? After 50 to 70 years of this has resulted in a very large subset of men who have become weak, useless, and crisis. Pathetic state for boys and men that leads to depression and violent despair. A dominant masculine presence addresses this very dilemma for the individual man, and it firmly establishes why this is what is desperately needed by the individual man today. In this book, clearly defined masculine traits and behaviors and the emotional durability provided by traditional masculinity are presented as a guide to what every man should embed into his identity. Putting these principles and behaviors into practice will motivate and direct your path step to step to create for yourself an authentic, dominant masculine presence.